viewers, welcome to my channel Pharmacypedia. In this session, we are going to discuss about a very interesting topic, that is about the packaging material sciences. In the present video, we are going to discuss about what are the different sorts of the materials which are used for the packaging of the pharmaceutical products and the factors influencing the choice of the containers. Also about the legal and the official requirement for the container closure systems. So my dear students, in the present session, we shall be discussing the different sorts of the material which are used for the packaging of the different pharmaceutical products. Also, the factors influencing the choice of containers and legal and the official requirements for the containers. The rest two topics, that is about the quality control of the packaging material and the stability studies, shall be continued in the subsequent part 2. So when we talk about the packaging material science is very important science in a way that whatever product formulations has been manufactured, whether it is in the form of the parenteral product, whether it is in the form of the solid dosage forms like tablets, or whether it is in the form of the liquid products, they all need to be packed out very well. So the packaging material has to be, the selection of the packaging material has to be done in a proper way. So my dear students, you can understand, if the proper packaging material is not selected out, how much good your formulation is, how much quality of the formulation is having, it is of no use, since the only packaging material will provide the protection, will provide the integrity, will provide the identity to your formulation until and unless it is being consumed by the patients. So we always focus on the quality of the product. At the same time, we have to ensure that the packing in which the product is being packed out has to maintain its integrity, has to provide the adequate protection, has to be appealing enough, has to have the various features to ensure that it remains intact into the packaging part until and unless it is being consumed by the patient. So for that purpose, we need to identify the packaging material which can provide us these features. So overall, when we talk about the packaging material, three materials have been used in the pharmaceutical sector, which are widely used for the preparation of the packaging material for the different sorts of the dosage form, whether it is solid dosage form, or whether it is liquid dosage form, or whether it is parenteral dosage forms. So the materials are like glasses, plastics and metals. So when initially it started, the packing was done in the glass containers. Then later on and today also, plastic as well as metal containers are being used out. So these were the three main choices on which the pharmaceutical industry depended for the packing of the different dosage forms: glass containers, plastic containers and metal containers. My dear students, you must have all gone through you must have all seen these glass containers, plastic containers and metal containers in our day-to-day life while either consuming or helping out some other in the different packaging material. So like when we talk about the glass product, each of these materials have their own advantages as well as the disadvantages. So when we talk about the glass container, the very first advantage is that it is highly inert. It does not interact whatever has been packed into it. So like this is the very much important criteria, because whatever has been enclosed into the glass container, it is able to maintain that stability for a prolonged period of the time. But at the same time, there are certain disadvantages which are associated with the glass. For example, they are very heavy in weight. So while we have to ship down the product, then we have to see that it is adding weight to the final packaging. Moreover, it is very fragile. It needs to be handled very carefully. The reason being that it is very fragile in nature. It is composed of silicon dioxide and other substances. So like because of these disadvantages, the preference changed from glass to the plastics. Now you all are aware the use of the plastics is widely used in the packing of the pharmaceutical dosage forms, whether it may be solid dosage form, or it is plastics, or like plastics are packed also in like parenteral dosage forms, or even into liquid dosage forms. So nowadays glass bottles even have replaced the plastic bottles. So like my dear students, you can understand that plastics have their own advantages and disadvantages. The very first disadvantage with the glass was that it was very heavy in nature, and this problem was resolved by the plastics, because plastics is very light in weight. So when we had to go through the problems associated with the shipment, or the fragility which was associated with the glass was immediately resolved by the plastics. So the shipment problem was lost, and like it was having a very light weight. But certain other problems arose with the plastics. For example, the leaching problem. What happened was that the product which was being packed into the plastics has the high chances of leaching out into the packing material, packing plastic. So whatever, like if you have make the high density polypropylene, or like LDP bottles, so it was found that the active ingredient or any other excipient was leaching out, and then it was, if it was being volatile, and some of them passed into the air. So like some excipients have this capability. So it was also found that the problems plastics are usually faces like sorption. Some of the material may be absorbed by the plastic containers, or like some of the material from the plastic container leached out onto the formulation. So in both the way, actually it impacted the stability of the formulation. Then third, about the metal containers. You must have seen nowadays the metal containers being widely used for the pressurized dosage forms like aerosols. So like in aerosols, metals are the preferred choice of selection for the containers. The reason being that they are pressurized devices, and like it requires, they are explosive in nature, it requires a packing which is more more robust. So in that case, the metal containers are the first choices. So like each of these materials have their own advantages and their own disadvantage. Now it is up to the manufacturer to decide upon which container has to be selected out. But the ideal requirement is that it should not it should not actually disturb the main formulation. So nothing should penetrate, no leaching sorption problem should be there. The reason being that the quality of the product will be remain intact only if it is being inert. So whatever material has to be selected out, whatever container closure system has to be selected out, has to be ensured that it is highly inert and it does not interact with your formulation. So like when we talk about the different factors that needs to be considered while choosing the packaging material for a drug product is compatibility and safety concerns. Like you can understand, we need highest level of the safety in case of parenterals, because parenterals are injected directly into the bloodstream. So like when we talk about the toxicity concern, when we talk about the safety concerns, whatever container closure system has to be selected out, it has to ensure that it is highly inert and it does not interact with the formulation. The second criteria is the degree of protection required. Since we pharmaceutical dosage form ranges from liquid to parenterals, even pressurized dosage form, so that form of the protection is desired from the pack. It has to be that much strong enough to withstand the shipment pressures and like other transportation issues. Then second, cost is one of the important factor. The reason being that sometimes the formulation is not that much costly, but when it comes to the packaging form, it adds a lot of cost. So in that case, for example, in the case of aerosols, so since they are pressurized devices, they involves propellants, one has to select the metals. Then it should be convenient to use, and legibility, it should be able to provide the high sort of the safety and toxicity concerns with the main product. It should not be having any sort of the toxicity concern on the long term storage. Then presentation for the over counter drugs. Now all of you are aware that for the prescription drugs, they are being prescribed through the doctors, but when it comes to OTC product, it is the presentation hereby refers to the packaging and labeling part of the cosmetics. So like cosmetics and over the counter products will be only selected by the consumers, and one of the important criteria is the presentation, how it looks, the product overall looks like. So packaging also contributes for the aesthetic appeal for the consumers. So like consumers selects the OTC drugs, once they try it, then it should be appealing. So one of the important role for the packaging material selection is the presentation. Then let us try to understand the legal and the official requirements for the containers. So now you have understood that containers and the selection of containers and the criteria for the selection of the containers are very important when we talk about in terms of the pharmaceutical sector, because we are dealing here with the medicaments, we are dealing with the therapeutic products. So in that case all these things become important. So different guidelines are in place and have been provided by the regulatory authorities to look after this. So one of the important criteria is the container closure integrity testing. So like container closure integrity testing is a sort of the assay which actually helps in the evaluation of the adequacy of the container closure system to maintain the sterile barrier. So like the whole process of manufacturing the parenteral involves the sterile and aseptic conditions, so it has to be packaged in such a way. So like whatever container closure system have been selected out should ensure that the integrity is being maintained out, that it remains in the same form until unless it reaches to the final consumer. So like guidelines for the container closure integrity testing are being required, which regularly assess and sees that the therapeutic concentration remains the same after doing the accelerated study and the long-term stability studies. Contaminants that could potentially cross the container closure barrier may include microorganisms, reactive gases, and other substances. So like ideal container closure system should ensure that they are able to maintain the sterility and the product quality of the final dosage forms as well as the biological and vaccine products throughout their shelf life. So like different guidelines in place are like CFR. So European Commission Eurolex has also issued guidelines for the packaging and labeling part, even for the guidance for the industry, which comprises of the container and closure system integrity testing in lieu of the sterility testing as a component of the stability protocols for sterile products. Another guidelines from USP 1207 and 1207.1, 1207.2. So my dear students, you can refer these guidelines in detail for further understanding of the container closure integrity testings. So different tests are in place to ensure timely that and to understand that whatever packing is being done, it is safe and it is able to maintain the stability of the therapeutic ingredient for the specified period of the shelf life. Apart from that, Parenteral Drug Association Technical Report 27 and PDA white paper, which comprises of the container closure integrity control versus integrity testing during routine manufacturing, US FDA compliance program guidance manual chapter 56. So all these documents provide the guidelines to ensure the selection and the testing of the packaging material to ensure that the product remains stable during the shelf life. Whatever specifications have been set during the manufacturing, it has been met out. Next, we move on to the FDA packaging guidelines. The FDA clearly states that the role of the drug packaging in maintaining the standard of the identity, strength, quality, and purity of the drug for its intended shelf life stated in the guidelines, and reference has to be made to the pharmacopoeias for the guidance. So pharmacopoeias also provides the guidelines for the packaging part. It also defines that the types of containers to be used should be divided into parenteral, which ranges from glass or plastic, or non-parenteral containers, glass, plastic, metals, along with the pressurized container. Pressurized containers means aerosols, and the bulk containers for active ingredients and drug products. So accordingly, closure types are also being listed out, which includes a tamper resistant and child resistant caps. These sorts of the packings, these sorts of the closure ensures that the product has not been tampered until unless it is being consumed by the consumer. Apart from that, GMP also issues the guidelines for the packaging. It details out the nature of the material, should be the nature of the material, and also about the description of the closure, method of opening the closure, information on the container closure system, description of the tamper evident and the child resistant closures. Now, when we talk about the pharmacopoeias or like FDA and other guidelines, they ensure that the container closure integrity is being maintained out. So like stability has to be checked for both the accelerated stability study and long-term stability studies, and the product should remain stable throughout the shelf life. So justifications have been to be drawn out and justification have to be provided for the registration of the drug product, which includes the justification for the choice of containers in terms of the stability of the active ingredient, whatever method of administration is there, and sterilization process. So how the product has been sterilized, whether it is terminal sterilization or like the container closures are sterilized before packaging. So like the choice of the plastics also includes information on the tightness of the closure, protection of the contents against the external factors like shipment pressures observed during transportation, or container closure interaction process has to be studied out in the stability, as well as the influence of the manufacturing process. So all these justification and all these selection of the choice for the closures and the container system has to be specified once the product goes for the registration. Apart from that, other specifications and routine testings are being ensured to check that the container and closures, there should not be any sort of the interaction and no sort of the problem is being observed, and the stability remains intact. So that for that we need to conduct the container constructions, and list of components have to be identified along with the nature of the polymers which are used in the preparation of these container closure systems, and the specifications for the material. So like we do the specifications and raw material analysis while manufacturing the pharmaceutical product for the raw material, similarly the raw material for the packaging components have to be identified. They should carry the proper identification, visual testings, dimensional testing, and physical test, microbiological test. So like we look forward for the quality of the formulation whatever we have prepared, similarly we have to look for the quality of the raw material used in the preparation of the containers and closures. That is also very important, because we could only have a good quality product when we have a good quality of the packaging material in which our product is being enclosed. Thank you so much everyone. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel Pharmacypedia for getting further updates. In case of any comments, please provide your views in the comment box. Thank you so much.